Now, what I'll look at here in the next part is the AI agent, the idea of an agent. And it could carry with it an air of mystery. But an agent, if you think of like a customer service agent, a service desk agent, agents are fulfilling a purpose often as part of maybe a wider process. That's how we should think of these AI agents, that they're doing something, that they might not be doing that in isolation. It could be that they're linked up to other agents and other activities. For this agent to work well, it needs a model. For the agent to work better, it could do with some of our data to help it along, to give it context, let's say grounding context. And when we think of an agent, it's part of a structure. So we have our project. Within our project, we we deploy a model, and we build our agent off of that model. Each time we're running it, we're generating threads, and we can see those threads. We can see how it's operating each instance that we're calling it into being. So that's what I want to show you just now, just for the last few minutes. For simplicity, for speed, let's say, I've built a bit of this structure already. Okay, so there's enough waiting time in this next part that I decided just to build some of it already. I feel like I'm kind of cheating with that, but yeah, that's how I've done this. So in my original environment that I created in the portal and then accessed through ai.azure.com, and I went through model catalog and built it up. I could go in here, click agents, and start to create a new agent. And you know what? It's an absolutely fine way to do it. But I do need to deploy a model to support it. So just to simplify that, I've just gone in here, and the way I got to that, just as an aside, ai.azure.com. It was through the sort of very general overview screen, this one, just purely on ai.azure.com, that sort of top of the site there, and that gives me create agent. That's what I clicked on to get to this stage. So it's another approach, another way into it, other than creating it from the Azure portal. Okay, so I've got this agent project 1233. I'll go to agents, and that would be aligned, for example, with some of the templates. You could look at templates. Okay, I've got two agents here. Excuse me. I'll click on this one, purely because I've got another bit to fill in on it. Again, there's another feature here which I'll show you as part of this that took a while as well. So just to remove that, I prepared it earlier. I can give the agent a name, and I probably should do. I'll call it expense agent. The name, in a way, doesn't matter. The name's for me, the name's so I can recognize it. The thing that's really important is the ID. Okay, it's the ID that's going to be referenced in applications that use this. It's the ID that's going to link it to other agents. Okay, I'm using a model that's been deployed, and notice you'll see quite often it describes this as a deployment. I'll give this agent some instructions, a bit like telling the earlier solution that it was a problem-solving tool. I'll just paste this in. You're an AI assistant. It's going to use an expenses policy. Now, if I open up this is the expenses policy, travel, accommodation, meals, entertainment, some additional advice there. Okay. So what I want to just add into this is claims with an amount higher should be rejected. Okay, just save the tiniest disk there. Just save that. Now, importantly, and I did this beforehand, but with an agent, I can give it some knowledge, and that's what I've done. I've used that file as its knowledge. Okay. So it's going to use that in terms of answering questions about expenses. But I can also give it something to do. Just for brevity, I'll go to add. And I would be really interested in spending time with things like logic apps. If ever you've used Power Apps, I think logic apps are kind of Power Apps for Azure. So they can automate the flow of what happens next. What I'm going to do is just use code interpreter. And it's kind of perplexing sentence here. Use code interpreter to read and interpret information from data sets and generate code. I've given the agent some kind of purpose. The knowledge that it's going to use has detail. And what I'm sort of inviting it to do is use that to come up with its responses. So I don't need to add in a file, I'll just save that. Effectively, it's got the knowledge it needs from this file. Okay, let me try it out. So if that's the sort of the detail that I've put together and I've saved it, nothing else to save, and I'll just go back to agents. Let's go through this. Yeah, using a smaller screen. No excuses. Try and playground is what I'm looking for. That's right here. Try and playground. And like before, it gives me the chance to try it out. I've used Sweden Central because the combination of the model and what I'm using it for in this agent is valid for Sweden Central. There's some restrictions on the account that I have, so that's why I've used Sweden Central. It is sort of Sweden Central, East US 2 are often sort of useful go-tos in any situation. Okay, what is the maximum I can claim for food? I think the maximum amount you can that you can claim is $50 a day. Yeah, that's what it says, because we've got $50 a day meals. It doesn't say food, but it's interpreting that for me. Okay. Make a claim. Now, it could come back and say, what do you mean by claim, or yes, or something, but it's not. It's saying, yeah, you need to give me these details, and these details are recorded in amongst this. So I need to give it my email address. It's all recorded in amongst here. So my email address, Iain at lunchrocks.com. Okay, and it's going to say, yeah, tell me what did you have? What was the description? Put in a description, which I don't really need to say description. Modest portioned lobster. Okay. And how much? Okay, right. It was only $600. Too much. It's too much because it said it's too much. It says it's too much in the policy. Okay, okay then, just $50. sense my despair. And I'll press that and it'll say, I'll see if I can submit this claim for you. It's preparing a link. Download the expense claim. To see if I can get that. There it is. Expense claim. See my previous practices. Yeah, and it's listed there. Now, that's not a complete expenses system. That is an agent, but that agent forms a key component at the middle of a tool. What I've tried to do there in the time that we've had is give an overview of Foundry. I've tried to emphasize the importance of models, checking them out, comparing them, and picking the model that suits you best. I've also shown you creating a simple agent, albeit with some shortcuts to sort of have stuff pre-done, to show you how you can get meaningful output from these models, not just a sort of worldwide generic type of answer, but an answer that relates to you. You then start to build it out. You connect it to other agents and add it into applications. What you should do next is check out Microsoft Learn, learn.microsoft.com. Have a look at YouTube, of course, LinkedIn, GitHub, learn Python, understand Python. A lot of it's given to us, a lot of structure is given to us, but you've got a real head start if you know a bit of Python. And of course, have a look at Lumify Work. We've got a load of AI related courses, especially around Azure, but also in a more generic context as well. And best of all, the best thing you can do, just do it. Just try something. Try a bit of playground experiment. That's it. Thanks for your time, and see if you can find us. Let's see. You can see us online. Let me get a better version of that slide to come up. Thanks, folks.